Welcome. I am your host, Ramonda Jan, the founder of Women Thrive Media, visibility expert, and inspirational speaker. I founded this global community for women so every woman who is starting or running a business can feel like she has found a place to belong. So every woman is empowered to use her voice and share her message with the world. Hello and welcome to today's podcast episode. I'm excited to have you here for another amazing conversation with one of our guest experts. Today we're talking about how to build a powerful self-belief in order to grow your business. And my guest is Anne-Marie. Hi Anne, how are you today?
I'm good, Ramonda. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm excited about this conversation because I actually hear so much from our community of, how much their self-belief holds them back, and they have big goals, big dreams that they want to realize in this world. And perhaps the biggest struggle they have is themselves. So today with Anne-Marie Graham, who is an inspirational leader in her field and a business growth and mindset strategist, as well as a best-selling author, she is an experienced trainer and speaker who will be helping us to uncover the truth behind self-belief and mindset. So she has worked with a number of corporates nationally and internationally, and in relation to employee health and well-being. And mainly she helps her clients to transform their mindsets that in turn helps them transform and grow their businesses. Anne-Marie, I am excited to have you here. So first of all, how do we actually, why are we here? Why are we talking about this subject from your point of view and your experience?
Thanks, Ramonda. Yeah, I'm so passionate about, I work with women, predominantly with women, around who they believe they are and how that holds them back. I always say to women, the three letters in the word belief that I love are L, I, and E, because most of the crap that we tell ourselves in our heads to sabotage ourselves are lies. They're just simply thoughts we've given enough energy and thought to over time. So they've become a truth in our own head. I go to my own story there where, as a 15-year-old, I failed business studies in school. I wouldn't be cut out, told I wouldn't be cut out for business. You're not good enough at maths. You wouldn't be able to function in business, and you need to do something else. Now, empowering people and helping people was also a passion of mine all through growing up, and I always looked at nursing. So I was told, go and do nursing. You'd be more suited to that. So at 15, even though I had a real entrepreneurial spirit as a child, and I was always setting up my little shops and all these little businesses in my head, that dream was killed, and I developed the belief I wouldn't be good at business. I wouldn't be able to survive in business. I wouldn't be able to manage a business, simply because of something that was said that I gave energy to and I gave time to. So that's why I'm so passionate about helping other people and women look at, okay, what are the beliefs that you have? Where are they showing up? And it's not never just in their business, it shows up in their personal life as well. And it's getting them to realize that that belief is not a truth. They've no evidence for it. And when they start to see that and release it, then their potential just shines through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that so much that, something that someone said in the past or something that we have experienced all of a sudden puts a doubt, and it's like a shadow that we can't move past.
Mhm.
So, some of the mindset strategies that you use with your clients, what would be some of the recommended things that you would say would help someone overcome their limiting beliefs?
So the first thing that I look at is with the female business owner is, okay, where is it that they are now versus where they want to be? So it's really important they know that they have a clear picture of where they are, so that when we start engineering backwards, what are the thoughts and the behaviors that have got you to where you are, that they have something to work with. But it's also really important that they have a goal and they have a vision, because then we help match the self-belief with that. So one of the tools that I use is I get them to look at uh, what would be the ideal self from the place of the goal achieved. What would successful Anne-Marie look like in her business? And it's not just about money. It could be about time. It could be about balance with her family. It could be about her health. It could be about, changing the world with the people she serves. So I get her to look at what does successful Anne-Marie look like. And again, we build a vision around that. So they're two of the tools that I would work with. In terms of breaking down, breaking down where the saboteurs come in, where we sabotage ourselves, that does require me to look at, okay, where do you think that belief comes from? And it's usually things like maybe family background, things that were said, things that were done, where people come in a family, if they grew up maybe in poverty or scarcity or wealth and didn't appreciate it. So there's a lot of questions that I have to ask to help the person get the picture of where that comes from.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not about the regression, it's about moving them forward. We're only looking at that as one factor. So we know this is here, we know where it's come from. Now let's help you release any resentment or anger or guilt or shame around it and focus on successful Anne-Marie and who she is and what she looks like.
So if I was to ask you this golden question of what, in terms of success, what determines our success? Would you say, is it mindset? Is it luck? Is it capability? What does contribute to our success?
It's actually very interesting one because I spoke on another podcast about this recently, the difference between mindset and luck. And, luck is being able to actually see the opportunities when they present, and that comes down solely to mindset. So for me, I would say it's 80% mindset and it's 20% technical capability, because you can learn the tools or you can buy in the help. So for me, the maths and the business, I know the difference between profit and loss. I know the difference between when my business was 5 figures and 6 figures and low six and high six and stuff like that. But the more intricate detail, I outsource that, so I don't have to worry about it. So the mindset, for me to be able to admit that that's not my strength, relinquish the control, buy in the help, that was a mindset issue. It wasn't actually a money issue. It was a mindset. It was a control issue. So I would say mindset is 80% of it.
Wow, that's a lot.
Mm,
That's a
mm,
that's a big part, I guess. And I believe that a lot of our mindset is actually subconscious, unless we are willingly and
mm,
actively look into our patterns and look into our
mhm,
subconscious mind.
mhm.
So we do a lot of things from subconscious mind that we may not even be aware of. Do you agree with that?
We are totally, totally controlled and programmed by our subconscious mind, because that's where a thing called our paradigm is. It's our default mental programming and way of thinking that is in the subconscious mind. And the thing with the subconscious mind as well, compared to the conscious mind, is the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined, and it cannot originate thought of its own. So it believes whatever you tell it, believes whatever you tell it. And I love the kind of concept that Carl Jung uses, where he talks about when we make the subconscious conscious, that's where the magic happens. But a lot of the time we don't do that. We keep the emotions suppressed and we keep the thoughts suppressed, and we try and white knuckle through, as I call it, to success by just doing more. And that was actually a huge wake up journey for me in my third year in business. I was working harder, doing the same thing, and I was going nowhere fast. The dial had not moved, but I was heading for a burnout if I kept going. And I thought, okay, something I'm doing here is not working. And that was the missing piece.
Yeah. And I do see that a lot. A lot of us work so hard and sometimes take on tasks as leaders that perhaps we shouldn't even be taking on. And it comes with experience and it comes with, like, as you say, just shifting a gear in our mindset in order to grow, because working harder doesn't mean you're going to get results. We're going to work
Mhm,
smarter. What are
mhm.
the things that has helped you to recognize that, you know what, it's time to change some things? Perhaps the way I've been doing things no longer works here because I need to grow.
Yeah. So in my first business, that was a healthcare business. So it was a workplace health business now that I operated nationally. So in that, I suppose I'm very different. This is my second business, my coaching business. So I'm very different in this business compared to the first one. But in the first one, the realization for me was there has to be something I'm missing. I'm working all these hours. And, I might have had a business that was 60, 70K, thousand euro back. Now it's well, maybe back in 2004, you are looking at that. But compared to how I was working, I would have earned more in a job. So it was a reality check for me when I worked with my first coach, and he said, where are you versus where you want to be, and what are you doing that's not working? But it wasn't the doing, it was it was my beliefs around not being good enough to be in business, not being strong enough to be in business. I didn't come from a business background. I didn't have any business experience. I was a nurse by profession. So all of those things, I guess in some ways I used them as excuses. So if something didn't work out, it was easy to say, oh, well, that's fine because I've no business experience and sure, I'm just trying this out instead of actually looking at, okay, where am I hitting a wall here? What can I learn from this thing that I perceive as failure or I perceive as disappointment or challenge? And it was really going within. It was really when I started looking at my own beliefs about myself, my self-care, my self-love, and they all seem like really, fluffy things to talk about. And 10 years ago, if you had to talk to business owners about self-love and self-care, gratitude practice, meditation, visualization, they just would, a lot of them wouldn't have got it. But it really does start with how I think about me is how I will react and connect with you and you with me. And that's a huge part of it.
I love that. It's so important. I think I always say that entrepreneurship is the biggest personal development journey that you can ever go on. So as much as we feel like we're unlocked to the next level and I've dealt with that thing and now I'm flying, try next fly a little higher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And you
exactly.
seem to hit a whole new level of challenges. What's going on?
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny, Ramondra, that one of the first patterns of behavior that I identified very early in my first business, and I still have it to a degree, I still have to challenge it, was this constant need for perfection and achievement. So a real hyperachiever. And then I'd get to the goal and I'd be setting the next goal, and I wouldn't have even been grateful and appreciated what I'd achieved. So I was always pushing, pushing, pushing to the next thing. So I remember the first time I did a Bob Proctor program, I literally came out of that seminar. It was like I've been walking around in a dark room and someone has turned the lights on. It was that big a aha moment. And I thought, I've just got it all wrong for the last 4 or 5 years. What I'm doing is not working and I didn't see it, you know.
I love that I do feel like we as women want to achieve and overachieve and be everywhere and everything to everyone, and if
Mhm.
we don't, we feel like we've failed. If something goes wrong in our motherhood or in our business, we feel like we failed and we forget all the amazingness that we have already achieved, all
Yeah,
the accolades we have already overcome and struggles we have already conquered in our lives. And we just get ourselves so hanged up on that one thing that didn't work out. And it's like,
absolutely.
I'm a failure now, right? How can we remind ourselves that, look, I'm actually doing all right here. I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the tools that I use as well with clients, and I've kind of devised this system from the work of two people, Byron Katie being one, and another guy called Dale Hoskin, the Sedona method. And I get them to ask themselves 4 questions. So I get them to ask themselves, okay, how do I know? Where is my evidence that this belief is true? That it's an absolute truth, it's an absolute fact. Where would I be if I didn't think like this? Would I be willing to release this thought? And when would I be willing to release it? And sometimes just that pattern interrupt can really help women to see where their thinking style has gone way off and they've just got themselves into a spin and gone down a rabbit hole that's led them into total sabotaging thinking.
I love that you said the rabbit hole. It's like, it's so common. Or spiral of just one thing hitting, just happening wrong, and it just feels like a world is falling apart. But I'm sure some of you have seen this graphic where entrepreneurial journey is not a straight line. You're gonna have to experience the ups and downs and highs and lows, and I do believe that having a strong, resilient mindset, um, and the tools to manage the ups and downs can help you amazingly well in managing it and staying consistent, because it's so easy to give up when we face challenges. It's so
Yeah,
easy to say, well, it's not working, or, oh, that didn't work. And previously, when I tried, that didn't work. But what I've learned over time, especially in business, you got to try something multiple times
Hmm.
in order for that to work. Maybe you're on a webinar, it didn't work out this time. You got to keep trying, you got to keep mastering it, because you got to try so many more times in order for that to work. Or something that worked for me personally before doesn't work today. So you have to constantly adjust. And if you're just so set on a mindset that that thing doesn't work, or Twitter
Hmm.
doesn't work for my marketing, or
Hmm.
um, LinkedIn isn't my platform, and you completely avoid it, but actually, if you gave it another chance, that thing
Yeah,
might just work, right?
yeah, yeah. And it is the thing about giving up one step too soon. So with my first business, I took it on as a 10-year plan. I thought I'm going to build it to sell it, give it 10 years. I attended a Jack Canfield seminar in Dublin. And I remember he was talking about, visualize 10 years from now and come from the place of the goal achieved and put a date in the work. But I thought this guy's crazy. I thought to myself, I want some of what he's smoking or taking because he's nuts. I genuinely, when I started doing this, did not have full belief in it. And I'm always really honest with clients. But I thought, you know what? His way is working and mine isn't. He's a phenomenal person. He's a phenomenal speaker, a phenomenal businessman. He's all over the world, very similar to some of the stuff that I'd done in the Bob Proctor seminar as well. And I thought, okay, these guys have something that I'm clearly missing. So I persisted with it. But when I started doing, the likes of visualization and the Power Life script coming from the place of the goal achieved and seeing what successful memory looks like, I did not believe that it was going to work. I'd be honest, I didn't. But I thought I'm going to persevere with it. And it did. It made such changes.
How amazing. How amazing when you
Mm.
just, because that's what it is, beliefs. And what I've seen a lot from women who actually attended our events, first of all, they had no awareness that a different possibility, reality is possible for them. So they were doing what they know, and perhaps that wasn't working for them.
Mhm.
They knew it wasn't working, but they didn't know how to fix it because they didn't have that awareness of a different reality, of different possibility.
Mhm.
They perhaps didn't know that there are solutions or tools or what's holding them back. And when you don't have
Yeah.
that awareness, it's like you're spinning the wheels the same merry-go-round, right? You keep going the same
Mhm.
circle and you're wondering, well, why is not working? Because you
Mhm.
keep looking at the same thing with the same eyes and you're not trying anything new. And when
Yeah.
you have that awareness, self-awareness, awareness of where you are at and where you could be or what's possible,
Mhm.
it's, as you said, it's just like someone just turned on the lights and like, why have I been walking in the dark all this time?
Yeah. 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 And it's the thing as well of, in fairness, I always had the belief, well, I'll try it. If it doesn't work, nobody has died, then that's, because I came from a nursing
Yeah.
background, so where end of life care was part of your job. And I used to, in moments in the early years in business when I had to give myself that reality check, I used to say that, have you killed anyone or has anyone died? No. So then it's fine. You just need to try and work another way. And sometimes it did require me having that kind of reality conversation with myself instead of going into a spin about why it didn't work.
Mm, yeah, totally.
You know,
So, Anne-Marie, you are a speaker on our platform, which I'm excited about.
me
And
too.
you're delivering a session, and that, events like this and having speakers like yourself who all of a sudden turn on the lights for our audience. For me, it's invaluable because hopefully someone who needs it right now will be sitting in on your session and being opened to a new possibility, new reality, a blind spot that perhaps they didn't know they had, right? So, what is your
Mhm.
session and why do you think people should be attending it?
So my session is really around some of the tools to create a performance mindset that's going to help their business. And one of the things that I do as a speaker, I share my own journey. I share my own story, warts and all. It wasn't all plain sailing. There were a lot of crooked lines. There were a lot of, times of despair or disappointment or challenge. But it's about how I use these mindset tools to create a more resilient mindset that allowed me to achieve the success and successfully build that business and sell it. So
Brilliant.
if anyone is experiencing anything like that, then I think they'll get a lot out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Whether you're a business owner or you're thinking about starting a business or you're in a
Mm,
leadership position,
mm,
there during our summit, and that's the beauty because I tend to take a very much holistic approach to business because, as you say, it's not just the tools or just a bit of luck or just the knowledge that will get you to success. Sometimes there are those softer things like mindset and unlocking some parts of yourself and possibilities in order for you to grow. And I think that's where the gold is. Like, I know there has been some mentors or people I've listened to in the early days of my business that opened my mind to what's
mhm,
possible. And you constantly have to grow your mindset in order for you to
mhm,
grow, right?
mhm,
So, for those of you listening, if you have not registered for Women Thrive Summit, which is our annual Women Empowerment event that happens every March, this year happening 20th to 24th of March. And if you haven't saved your spot, head over to womenthrivesummit.com and register for your spot and make sure you bookmark Anne Marie's session. But also, if you are watching this or listening to this at any point after this date, don't worry, you can still head over to womenthrivesummit.com and you can still purchase your access to the replay. This year we have 50 plus amazing speakers. This is absolute amazing bargain for $97 for you to access replay of all of these 50 plus amazing experts and have it on the go. You can listen to these sessions at any time that is accessible to you and learn so much. Like, if I knew half of the stuff that I know today when I started out, I know my success would have been accelerated tenfold than where I am today. And I'm just grateful for every opportunity to learn and connect with women like yourself, Anne Marie.
Thank you, Ramonda. Likewise, same as that. Thank you.
If women wanted to, or men, we're not necessarily excluding the gentlemen, wanted to connect with you or they felt inspired and they wanted to follow up, what would be the best way to connect with you?
So they can go to my website, which is Mindset Success Strategy. So, like my banner at the back there, mindsetsuccessstrategies.com. And they can click the contact button and book a 30-minute discovery call with me, or they can reach out on LinkedIn under Anne Marie Graham as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Well,
you.
if you feel inspired, if you feel like this could be perhaps a new opportunity for you to unlock the next level of success, make sure you head out to all the show notes below this episode and connect with Anne Marie across social media channels, or her links will be available there. And don't forget to attend her session or grab it on replay at womenthrivesummit.com. I think it will be worthwhile your time to tune in to this incredible session. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you on next episode. Thank you, Anne Marie.
Thanks, Ramonda.
Speak to you soon. Bye bye.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Did you enjoy this episode? Share it with the world. Make sure to also leave a review and subscribe for future episodes.